Start with the Foreign Minister of the Ukraine, whose name is?
Chairman Graham, Ranking Member Leakey, members of the subcommittee, thank you for giving me this opportunity to testify before you today. And of course, it's great to sit in a line here with friends in front of the subcommittee. Back in 1994, still as a young diplomat, I was involved in a process of strategic nuclear disarmament. While working on Budapest Memorandum, I have already questioned its effectiveness and feasibility to ensure security of Ukraine. Still, and I have to say it was beyond my imagination that in 20 years, one guarantor of our sovereignty and territorial integrity, a permanent UN Security Council member, will invade Ukraine and occupy parts of its territory. Why did it happen? Here is the key to understanding what is the root cause of Russian policies and intentions towards European countries, particularly Ukraine. For Putin, the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century. From the very beginning, he was and still obsessed with the restoring the former Russian greatness. Of course, it could be done in two ways. One way was to invest in building a strong democratic state with the rule of law and competitive market economy, honoring the international principles and order. But it was not the Russian choice. Instead, Kremlin resorted to aggressive expansionism in gross violations with the international law in different dimensions, breaking the UN Charter and Helsinki Final Act, undermining arms control, and possibly violating the INF and New START treaties, coercing with trade and energy pressure in contradiction to the WTO principles, and of course blatantly violating the human rights. Kremlin has developed the concept of hybrid warfare and launched it with the illegal annexation of Crimea and the invasion in Donbass. It's a highly sophisticated strategy which mixes conventional aggression with economy and economic pressure, with propaganda and misinformation, as well as direct interference in the internal affairs of other countries. It's waged daily against peaceful countries to undermine, disrupt, and sow dissent. It's spearheaded in living rooms across the globe by the insidious television channel RT, which seeks not to promote any particular narrative, but to undermine that of the host. In real terms, this hybrid war against Ukraine translates into a shocking number of Russian weaponry pumped into the occupied Donbass and Crimea. It's now about 4,200 regular troops and up to 40,000 militants. It's about more than 400 tanks and 800 armored vehicles. It's up to 1,000 artillery systems and over 200 multiple rocket launchers, around 23,000 troops in the occupied Crimea. Just a few hours ago, the Russian agent at the International Court of Justice made a completely ridiculous statement that the Russian-backed militants actually discovered all those weaponry being hidden in the old Soviet coal mines. It's indeed the case just today. Can anyone believe it? Kremlin's war against my country over the last 3 years has led to over 7% of Ukraine being occupied, almost 10,000 of my fellow Ukrainians, both military and civilians, losing their lives, with a further 23,000 being injured. Just in the last 6 weeks, the Russians and their proxies launched a fierce attack against our troops and civilian population in Avdiivka. Russia has recognized the passports and documents issued by illegal entities in Donbass and has also completed the introduction of the Russian ruble as the currency in the occupied territory. Furthermore, Russia has also ordered the illegal expropriation of the key enterprises in the occupied territory. All this is nothing but a clear breach of each and every point of the Minsk peace agreement. The only viable way to negotiate with Russia is from a position of strength and international solidarity. And no new agreements should be made with Russia until such time as they have delivered on their provisions and commitments. So let me thank all of you for the enormous support which the United States has given to Ukraine, in particular over the last 3 years in our fight against a resurgent Russia. And all the signals from the new US administration give us great hope that the United States support for Ukraine will continue and increase. And this continued support is not just in the interest of Ukraine. It's in the interest of the United States and the freedom and stability of the wider transatlantic alliance. So I'm asking this subcommittee for its explicit support in a number of areas. Defensive weapons supplied by the US and continued military and technical support would make a powerful statement to the Kremlin and to prove significantly Ukraine's ability to defend its territory against the Russian army. This support has already shown its effectiveness. The battalion of the 73rd Brigade, trained by the US instructions, was one of the most effective in repelling the Russian attacks in Avdiivka. The units prepared by the US instructors appear to be very effective on the front line. That is why we believe this kind of support and training is very important and should be continued. So I would like to ask you to support the appropriation of funds authorized for security assistance to Ukraine in the NDAA 2017. And please support the appropriation of funds for enhanced assistance to Ukraine in the US fiscal year 2017 budget and of course forthcoming 2018 budget. Ukraine also needs a long-term security arrangement for closer partnership and cooperation on defense and security. The involvement of the United States will be key to any such arrangement work. Of course, we need US support in relaunching the negotiations of the signatory of the Budapest Memorandum. The United States should play a key role in the negotiation both on Donbass and Crimea. And finally, until Russia gets off Ukrainian land, there must be no easing up of sanctions. If anything, they should be increased. Dear Senators, Ukraine is on the front line and currently the only country fighting and dying to hold off Russia. And Ukraine does not simply ask for support. We currently spend 6.6% of our GDP on defense. At the same time, it's obvious that we need the US and transatlantic solidarity with Ukraine and Ukrainian people. A strong, stable, and democratic Ukraine, able to defend its borders against Russian expansionism, is a crucial ally for the United States in the regional and globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you